Man. 4 a.m. 40 minutes a day. Hopefully it's over soon, man. I think 9 out of 10 streams I'm talking about sleep. Yeah, my sleep is terrible. But yeah, it's weekend. Like I can sleep in tomorrow, so it's not bad. So yeah, I'm gonna watch Calm Chess on the side. Make it a chill session.
Too excited. I mean, what are you sacrificing? Sometimes just go back. Just keep your knight. Why sacrifice? Do you have an immediate win? Watch what happens in this game. Rook f7. Okay. Bishop f8. Queen g6. And rook g7. What? Hold on. When you played the move bishop to f8, if you had looked around and went, are there any checks? You would have never in a million years played the move bishop f8. You would have been going, oh my gosh, there's a check. I should play something like king to h7. Why should you not play queen f5? Because if you look at the checklist and go, are there any checks? No. Are there any? Oh, there is a capture. Oh my goodness. And that is how you avoid mistakes. And that's a check, by the way, which you wouldn't have seen until you went to capture, right? So bishop f8, you blunder this. Now you think this, but what? That's just, no, that's not a fair trade. And here white just does something catastrophic. Plays rook d7. I mean, just too excited. But do you know why white made this blunder? Because at this point, black had about 7 minutes and white had 2. So this is where time management comes in. Black played much faster and therefore worse, right? So black, for example, several moves ago, probably played this move in about 2 seconds and lost the game because of it, and didn't lose the game because of it. The pace at which black played this game was very fast, which made white play very fast too. And now white is losing. Hangs a rook in one move, total blind spot. Now, great job here by black not getting distracted, moving the rook and solidifying. At this point, really, it's kind of chaos. And again, the whole point is to minimize chaos. When you are down to your last major piece, like a queen versus queen and bishop, don't trade the queen. Just don't trade it. Like, white needs the queen on the board here, folks. White needs to give checks, try to win as many pawns as possible, because the truth is that black only has 1 pawn remaining. But a lot of people, they trade completely unnecessarily. So again, refer to the 5 steps, right? And now, great play by black here to get the king all the way in. Endgames with low time are sort of chaotic. The easiest way to win this position is to understand which pawn you have to push here by black. So you have to understand, like, both these pawns are trying to come down, right? So if you take one of them, which of black's pawns should go? Tough question. The one that will deliver a check. The one that will deliver a check. So a5, h5, a4, h6, a3,
Hello.
h7, a2,
Keyboard's not working.
h8, a1, and it's a check, and even worse, it's an x-ray. That didn't happen in the game, and instead they both got queens. But white traded the queens by mistake. They gave a check, which was cross-checked, and now the black pawn, the final black pawn promoted. So this was an insane game. I mean, completely insane game. And obviously we're following major elements here of the checklist. The last game that I was going to show you was a battle between 900s. And this game is really hopefully going to convince you that you can get to this level. So this game was just a clean pawn blunder on move 2, which white defended. White didn't even... You know why? I think white wanted to play the London. And in trying to play the London, they... What? So now this happens. Now the knight's on e5. Okay. Black plays bishop d6. I like this by white. Look at this. I told you. D and C pawns are best friends. So the pawns go together here. We have takes. Black here plays a horrible trade. This trade is good. Why? Because number 1, white can no longer castle. Number 2, this is a weakness, and you can immediately go after it. The trade that black plays in this game is terrible. This is a terrible trade. Why? Oops, I apologize. Why is this such a bad trade? Look at your pawns. Look for checks. Queen h5 wins on the spot. You not only gave yourself doubled isolated e-pawns, you gave yourself 3 massive pawn weaknesses, and this. All elements of the
Bruh,
checklist
sometimes
have
it's
been
price
violated.
action, man.
Terrible trade, bad board vision, and not looking at the checklist. And the opening is bad. But, okay, that aside, you know. So, right, this is just not good at all. But both players here end up, okay, we finally chill out for a second, and we get to a position that's more or less.
Oh shit.
Knight c4, queen e7.
Oh no, never mind.
Trade here by white incoming. This is a great trade. Why? Horrible pawns for black now. So black now has doubled c pawns and an isolated a pawn. So knight e5, queen c2, right? Great trades. Rook a4 is a whatever move. I don't dislike the move bishop d2. Why don't I dislike it? Because this bishop is terrible. Because a long time ago, when you played e3, you blocked in this bishop. So this bishop is worse than the other one, so trade it. I don't like knight d2. I would have played queen d2, but all right. c5, you know, normal stuff. No, free pawn. I mean, it's free, right? Rook e8. Now knight e5. And now just another free pawn. I mean, I don't know what black is doing here, right? A free pawn. Okay, but now we have something. Right? There's a threat here. The threat is to take the knight. The fact that the knight is protected is a complete illusion. So what does white play? Hangs the knight in one move. What does black play? Attacks the rook, which just got there, and gives it up in one move. White doesn't take it. The knight is now hanging once again in the middle. Queen d5 attacks the rook instead of taking the knight. Rook h4 hangs the knight in the middle of the board again. Finally. Rook c7. White's like, oh, well, I can't take the rook, so I might as well take the pawn. Rook g5. e4. All right? And now, queen takes e4, hangs the queen in one move. In this position, if you play check, takes, and you look for check, rook c8 is a mate. Oops. Rook c8 is a mate. This is how you avoid these kind of mistakes. Realize your back rank is weak, right? This is how you avoid these kind of mistakes. The checklist always has to be used. In this case, after the move e4, black just completely forgot about the rook, and white, okay, gives away a rook, but queen and rook will beat 2 rooks most of the time, and okay, yep. Black made another blunder, so just gave away a queen for a pawn and a rook for a pawn. All right, 14-2. Not a very good transaction. So black has bad board vision. I mean, that's really all it is. Black has bad board vision. Doesn't visualize the eyes of the pieces very well at all. I told you that so we looked at the games that could be fixed, right? And all these little elements. Now we are going to look at 2 basically perfect games. This is a game my subscribers with the white pieces. Look at what black is doing. Kind of playing in the center, kind of not. Look at what white is doing. I mean, 2 pawns, knight, bishop, great stuff. Once you're castled, it's go time. All right, once you're castled, your king is out of the middle. You go to the middle of the board. This trade I don't dislike. I don't dislike it at all, especially because this kicks the bishop out. This is just a solid move. What is a5? You see, black is just not playing in the middle, not developing, not castling, not playing in the middle. So white attacks the bishop and secures a nice trade. Why is this a good trade? Because after bishop takes, the queen is better. You've removed black's only active piece. The rook is hanging, and the queen can go this way. That trade only helped one person. Black plays this. So white could take the bishop, but chooses just to develop. Now here white maybe plays the only bad move of the game. It's not even a blunder, it's a3. White basically just didn't want anything to go to b4, and wants to play b4, and black just, what is black doing? You know why black is doing this? Because black played too passively in the opening. That's really all that happened. Maybe black was studying my e6 b6 course, right? Sometimes you study my courses, but it doesn't work out because you're not playing it right. There's a way that they get played. The pieces have to go to certain squares. I don't know. I mean, I'm just saying, right? I have no clue who the player playing with black is. But white just very methodically takes as much. Look at this. Look at this. Amazing play here. c5, d5, d6, and now black, with the king in the middle of the board, opens the board, and white absolutely smashes the board open. Pawn takes d6. Pawn takes e6. Look at this move. Bishop f5. Hitting this weak pawn. Hitting this bishop. By the way, checklist, 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 checklist. Use the checklist. That's just the free bishop, right? Checklist first. Also, bishop g6 is check. Checklist first. But I'm not even concerned because queen e6 and black resigns. I mean, this is how you're going to get to 1,000. White made a couple inaccuracies, no blunders, methodical game of chess to completely break apart black's position, and got a win. And the last game that I would like to show you of this entire video is this one. Here my subscriber has the black pieces. This is a game between high 900 rated players. This one has probably the most proper opening that we've seen. This is the Scotch, okay? Takes, knight f6. White takes and plays knight c3, okay? So black here develops a bishop, fantastic stuff. White plays bishop c4. And here I would just castle with black, but okay, I don't dislike this. Castles, and white here begins attacking without castling, right? So we've seen this before. The idea is to take the knight and ruin the structure, so black defends. Look at this, understanding how the pieces operate. Look at that great defense here by black. Great move here by white, actually. Castling long and attacking the bishop. Here what you gotta do is chill out for a second and play the move bishop e5. Instead of that, black plays this, which looks really good. It looks really fantastic, because you're pinning this, but there's a sequence, this is a high-level trade sequence, right? We talked about trades. Let's do some counting. Queen takes bishop, knight takes queen, bishop takes queen, and then this. Okay? So, white got a bishop and a queen, black got a bishop and a queen. But at the end, it's white's move. So, real quick. Takes, 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 takes. It's white's move. You have to think it's white's move. What is white gonna move? Don't just end your calculation. White is gonna take the bishop. You lose this trade. Oh, no. White didn't take the bishop. White didn't follow the checklist, right? So white, in this position, was afraid of this, I guess. But rook takes bishop, it's just a free bishop.
Nice.
So white plays f3. Now, if black follows the checklist here, okay, black will give a check, move the bishop out of danger, and then fork. This is the way black is going to win material. By checking first, then winning the material. Black does this instead, and now if you do the math, rook takes bishop, knight takes rook, and you just go attack it using the checklist. Again, checks, captures, attacks. Attacks. Attacks, the knight is trapped. So you actually get 2 pieces for a rook, which is better. But neither player here uses the checklist, instead moves the rook, gives up this, and now
is a 1-1.
So now black is winning, and the speed at which black converted this game, look at this. Bishop, bishop, equal danger, all right? And then the position becomes 2 rooks versus knight and rook. What you do here is you need to connect your rooks, avoid back rank problems, and if you get rook versus knight, you win immediately. Rook is so much faster than the knight. So good job. Look at this, activating some pawns. A little bit defensive. I don't hate it, but you know, not always necessary. Threatening mate, great threat. Knight goes back to, and beautiful. This is the most active positioning of a rook in an endgame, and now you just gobble, and terrible, right? I mean, you wanted the rook off the board, so now black just removes the pawns and is going to make a queen. That's a little bit even unnecessary to sacrifice the rook for the knight. You just have the pawns. You just have the pawns. And the pawns they hold together. And the second that the white king gobbles one, you promote, and white resign. So black played one inaccurate little sequence, but otherwise played a fantastic game. Like, if you play like this, you will get to 1,000, absolutely no problems. So this is kind of the last 2 games I wanted to end on. Good control in the center, good openings, evaluating and understanding how your pieces interact with one another. Sometimes with mistakes, you're not going to be perfect, okay? Understanding time management, which is obviously, like, depending on what you play, that's for you to decide. If you play 3-minute, 5-minute, 10-minute, 15, 30, you don't want to be down more than a certain percent, okay, on time. The checklist. You have to apply the checklist throughout the game. At some point, it will become passive nature. Like, it will just be constantly there. But every time you're moving or wanting to make a move and thinking for your opponent, you have to think for their checklist as well. I hope this was helpful. I wanted to keep this about a 30-minute video to be compelling and interesting. I hope you enjoyed. Let me know your feedback in the comments below, and if you want another one like this for a higher rating, yeah, thanks for your support. I'll see you in the next video. Get out of here. That's some weird... Oh my god. It's like not over somehow. Crazy. Okay, I'm gonna play e6. I don't know how this attack just hasn't died yet. It's insanity. f4. I guess he can play rook b5. But I'm gonna get my rook out this way. This is one of the crazier games of how to win a chess that I can remember. So I'm gonna play rook a2, rook c2, or rook a2, rook e2, and we're just gonna push our pawns. Same way we won the endgame in the very first endgame against Vlad. We're gonna get our pawns together. This knight is sort of obsolete now. It feels like it's not really part of the game anymore. Somehow it's not doing anything. Yeah, so he takes. I'm gonna play rook a2. And now I'm ready. I could have also played f5, e5, these kind of moves. That's coming. But first I want to ask my opponent what he's doing. I also think d5 is going to happen, and it's a bad move because I can play f5, e5. So that would be quite nice for me. d5? f5 looks good, d5 looks good. Rook c2 is interesting. Let's go rook c2. So if he takes my last pawn over here, I'm thinking d5 and then just drive straight into the position. Actually, I could maybe even just cut off the king completely and just try to checkmate him. That might just be the idea here. Rook c7, disallow him any moves. Yeah, I'm going to play rook c7. I just have to make sure I can't be checked myself. So I'm now threatening... I should have a mate somewhere. Maybe I'm threatening just a big win of material somehow. I am also, at the end of the day, just threatening one more pawn. He has the weirdest pawn structure I have seen in a while. So, my pawns are all three together, ready to go down the board. It's a mini lesson in, in pawn structure and pawn clumps. Wow, but this is there was not much to talk about in this game. This game was absolutely nuts. Just completely nuts. It's very difficult in games like this to even summarize things, like I usually try to give general advice from certain situations. This game was beyond general advice. All right, f5 check, and hopefully he just blunders checkmate. That would be nice. Thank you. He blundered mate. Wow. All right, well, let's take a look. Knight g5. And here, knight d5 was good, gf4 was good, and I just totally freaked out here. And queen b3 is just not a good move at all. I spent so much time here. Apparently, bishop h1 is the way to go, but I was so scared of g3.
Oh, choppy.
Wow. Wow. Just, there's nothing. He can walk in. And I can just... That was terrifying by my opponent, honestly. That was really scary. Yeah, what he got in this position was apparently c6 wins, which is a crazy move. But his playing style is so annoying. And by the way, after queen h6, queen g3, now I'm winning again. He was winning for a move here. He had to apparently play c6. That was a horrible playing style to deal with. Just belligerent aggression. I mean, the entire game. He was losing for so long, but I just, I just let him get going. Shouldn't have done that. Big mistake by me. Huge mistake on my part to just let all these pawns avalanche forward, and then I decided to sacrifice a piece and consolidate with my queen. I mean, this queen b3 pawn, look at this. Queen b3 pawn opening the queen, and then coming over here is, it's advanced, but it's overkill. Not necessary. And, yeah, crazy. That was, insane game. Completely insane. I totally freaked out with that attack incoming, so good mini lesson there. I mean, honestly, attack. Even international masters will falter in the eyes of the attack. My last opponent is not online. I'm gonna have to summon them. All right, I'm gonna wait like 15-20 seconds. They have made it online. If they didn't make it online, then it's going to be extremely tragic. We will just have to cut the recording. But if not, then... Okay, my opponent is saying that they are online. They are not online.
Holy shit, this is maybe the worst transaction I've ever seen.
Maybe they spelled their username wrong.
Holy shit.
Well, thanks for hanging out, folks. I mean, hopefully an hour and 7 minutes into this, if we have a 1 minute technical difficulty, then...
Break-even trade. Would have been tiny profit like around here.
People will volunteer to play and they don't even know how to get into the... Okay, there we go. My opponent is online. Finally. Alright, let's play some chess. They get white. They're 2100. Their username is Lucifer. I played my opponent one time. E4. For this last game, I'm going to be playing E6, B6, which is also one of my courses for the black pieces. I'm going to be playing E6, B6 setup. I really like this setup. I think it's very easy to play, but obviously it gets easier to play as you go up the rating ladder because you have to play with a lack of space. So bishop D3, I'm going to play D5. This is very standard stuff. Yep, E5, and now I'm going to play C5. So we have a French defense. Now, French defense structure, I should say. Now, one of the ways I play this with black is I put this knight on C6. And then queen C8 and bishop A6. So this bishop, because white has so many pawns on dark squares, the light squared bishop for white is the better bishop. Because otherwise the dark squared bishop is sort of boxed in. And so we have a passive bishop. So what we do is we play moves like queen C8 and bishop to A6. And we try to get rid of that really strong light squared bishop. And we might get a situation like we got in the Vlad game, where the opponent has so many pawns on dark squares that their dark squared bishop is just very bad. So at bishop A6, we're going to trade. Then we're going to continue with the demolition of the queen side. Very similar, actually, to that Vlad game. So some of these openings, they have typical structures, typical ways of playing. I just realized that I was supposed to charge my phone this entire recording. I did not do that. See, once you watch long enough of a Win at Chess episode, you just get all parts of my daily life. Yeah, so, okay, bishop A6. Doesn't really matter what white is doing. This is our strategy. We're trying to make that, trade that bishop. Well, bishop A6 is very natural, but actually, oh my god, that would have been horrible if I pre-moved that. But bishop C2, bishop C2 is actually what I expect, just not trading. It's very clear what I want with my gameplay, right? Now this bishop will develop once we move the knight. Also, just a very flexible move is H6, preventing a bishop or a knight from ever coming there. Okay, takes. I mean castles. Why did I say takes? I'm gonna take. And again, we have a situation where... Why is he thinking? There's nothing to think about here. Is he getting a phone call? So... we're gonna. I want to play a queenless position like we did against Velirad. Trying to play a queenless middle game, queen a6, and try to play on this with this queenside expansion. This is one of the key components of the e6 b6 stuff. You don't have to trade queens, but now for the remainder of the game, I'm gonna focus on over here. And it's actually kind of nice to play queenless positions. You can learn a lot about various middle game structures. You also will never get mated when there's no queens on the board. H6 is now actually going to be very nice because the bishop will have to get kicked away. And then I will, H6 of course, without even hesitation, I will ask that bishop where it's going. Now, if the bishop gets locked away on G3, I'm very happy because it's not participating in the game whatsoever. Okay, but that is not locking the bishop away, so we have to still deal with the bishop. I think knight a5 here is smart. Controlling c4, ready with rook c8, If the opponent takes, I'm taking with the pawn, so nothing can get to d4. So takes, nothing gets to d4, and also I open up the b file. If they don't take, then I'm just going to slowly but surely bring my rooks, and then at some point I will open things up. Alright, that is the plan. b3. I think c4 is the idea. I want to play c4, but then I get kicked out, and I don't really like that. So now I just have to think about rook c8, I think. c4, the point is that I'm going to take, and then take the pawn on c4. So I'm noticing that my opponent is getting a little antsy. People in general, even at the 2100 level, get very antsy because nobody likes to sit in a position and completely unsure what to do, right? Just sit there. So everybody's trying to do something. Very few people can just slowly improve the position. And when you understand after moves like b3 that c4 is the idea, right? That maybe now they're going to take and try to play c4 really desperately. You unlock so many parts of chess once you get in front of your opponent's thought process. Just incredible, right? Knight d2 is still preparing c4, it looks like. Wow, really dedicated to this move. Makes me wonder if I should be worried about it. I really want to play it. I'm thinking like b5, but then takes is much stronger. Yeah, c4, I don't like that because I get kicked out. And I don't know, I really don't want to, I don't want that to happen. I don't want to get booted from the position. So maybe bishop e7. It's annoying, very annoying. I could take. I'm gonna take. I'm gonna take and ask my opponent what they want. And then what I'm gonna do, I think, is I'm gonna just play on the queen side. And my knights are very active. These knights are very bad in quality compared to mine. Mine will jump in, attack stuff. Oh, interesting. I did not expect that move because now I just have a clean target, right? So bishop a3. Ah, knight b. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. Completely missed that move. I mean, knight b5. What am I doing? It's late. It's late in the episode. I'm getting sloppy. Wow. I can't even do anything. I have to I have to still respect this threat. If I play rook c3, knight b5 is so strong. Wow. Yeah, knight d4 is actually a very legit move. I just talked about how my knights are better than the knights that white has, and then I activated white's knight. Very sloppy. Very sloppy. Man, and knight c7, my bishop is getting shot. Unbelievable. Okay, guess I'm gonna go back. Oops. Alright. Well, time to open up the next stage of the game, which is Levy fights back. rather than me actually pushing the initiative. I guess c takes d4 was just inaccurate. I for some reason I did not even think about knight takes d4. I was like, knight d4 is never gonna happen, because I just have a pawn target. I thought white would have to get the same structure as me. Yeah, there's knight b5. At this level, you're gonna get punished. Okay, I'm gonna bring my knight back and guard this. I'm also going to implement a game plan here, which is something you definitely should be implementing in your own games: the clock. So I'm not happy with my position. I'm going to focus, I'm going to buckle down, and I'm going to make sure that that inaccuracy was the only inaccuracy I made, and the clock is now a piece. I'm up 2.5 minutes on the clock. So there's c4. So I don't want to take and activate another knight. That is the last thing that I want to do in this position. So I think I don't have to do much, right? But I could trade knights. I could also reinforce, right? So I think I'm going to go knight c7. Maybe I'm gonna castle. Let me castle. Simple moves. Simple moves. Castle. Spent 20 seconds on that move, but it's okay. So, just simple move. Castle. Gonna get my rook into the game. Might not be playing the most accurate, but I am defending against unpleasant things. So, right, knight f3, rook d8, take, something like that. Take, knight f3, rook d8. Are we worse? I doubt it. It's probably just equal. It's just an equal position, but I'm not super happy. Okay, A3 is not a good move. That move doesn't do anything. But I have made mistakes in this game already once. So now I'm bringing my rook. So like I said, just simple moves. Simple moves. Not overthinking anything. Playing faster. Just playing solid, smart. Actually, if my opponent waits another move, I can push, which I will relieve a lot of pressure in the position. I also would really like to trade this knight. So at some point, I would love if my a6 knight could trade off for that knight, and I no longer have to worry about anything. If anybody's wondering why I haven't taken here, it's because knight takes a7. So I'm up 3 minutes on the clock now, right? That is huge. I'm not happy with my position, but I was slightly worse. I wasn't losing. Maybe I was slightly worse, but there's b4. So now I'm thinking d4. I'm also thinking knight c7. They both look good. They both look okay. I think I'm going to go with knight c7. I'm going to trade off this knight. Let's pre-move this move if it happens. Again, weaknesses, chilling, solid, removing my opponent's most active piece, building that time advantage. We haven't used the clock that much. I've tried to just play the best move, but clock is a piece, especially in a timed game. I mean, in a 10-minute game, when you don't like your position, you can absolutely speed things up. So now rook d5, I think. I mean, pawn d5 is also a very interesting move, but I like rook takes, because this pawn's a weakness. Just like in those Karo Khan positions, the e5 pawn is looking very suspicious. And if you defend it with a pawn, you immediately create more weaknesses for me. And if I win this, I'm going to win this. So that time advantage is now nearly 4 minutes, and the position has only gotten worse and worse for white because white is feeling that pressure. Knight f3 is a decent move. Let's look at this. Simple. Reinforcing. Boom. Right? Reinforcing. Gonna take on e5 or take this. If my opponent takes, we take. So same situation. Don't trade rooks if you have... We also could have played knight takes e5, I think.
Oh man, I feel like a robot.
No, maybe not. Take, x-ray. Tough. So don't trade rooks when you have that same file, right? When you have the same file, you want to reinforce your rooks so you dominate the file. Now we are at 4 minutes. So we've totally changed this game because we kind of changed the pace at which we were playing. And we're still better, right? We made a slight inaccuracy. I got a little frustrated with myself. That's actually not free because of this, but I think I'm just going to... A5 is also very interesting. But yeah, I should probably just take on E5. Probably should just take on E5. Also, no back rank mate. So because we played H6 a very long time ago, see, that's a major difference. The opponent has 2 minutes. I anticipate rook c7 or rook c8 check. But because we always have back rank stuff, we have bishop g5 basically at all times. And so king h7. I also could go bishop f8, but there's no reason to pin yourself. Don't pin your pieces to each other. No need to do that, right? Bishop g5. Seems smart. Rook f7. Oh man, my opponent might actually be making a comeback here. But maybe not. I'm going to play a5 so that they can't take my pawn. They still can't take my bishop. Because back rank mate. And I'm getting this pawn out of the way of the rook. Takes. I think white has played very well in this game. Hopefully they play rook a7 and then they blunder rook e3. That would be heartbreaking. For them. For me it would be outstanding. For them it would be heartbreaking. Okay, let's take king g6. Right, rook d5. I'm threatening two things here. So I'm threatening obviously back rank mate, but I'm also threatening some rook d3 stuff in the future. Maybe check and rook a1. I also feel like I don't need to trade the bishop anymore. My bishop is better than white's bishop. This pawn is a liability because I can always put my a pawn there and then try to go get it. Maybe bishop e7 was a little bit better. But I also like this. I think this is fine. Rook b5. Looking at all this stuff over here. We are more active. So at the end of the day, we're more active and we're much closer to winning our opponent's weakness. So this pawn is on the exact square we need it to be. So check. If king d3, rook b3, we win the pawn. So that forces the king to the back rank. A4 maybe? Very tricky position. Rook b3. You know what I could do? I could make the bishop move and damage the pawns. That's another way I could try to win this position. So for example, takes and bring my king. And I'm willing to argue that my king is far better than white's king here, because these pawns are so bad, and I'm ready to just go win them. Like I'm ready to just walk down over here and take the pawns. H5, G5, maybe G5 was better first. Something like this. Another thing is I can put my pawn on H3. So again, we have a situation. Good move. We have a situation here where all the pawns for white are very passive. Now we are... Ooh. I think this allows us to trade off into a winning endgame. This must be a winning endgame. Bishop E5 takes, A4, king F5. King D... Okay. And, I mean... Oh! I can also wall out. This is the smart way. The bishop is now gone from the game. Now we play A4. Bishop E7. We take the pawn. And this was a really nice mini lesson on endgames and piece activity. And playing with the clock. Like, the clock is a piece. Now we play A3. And we use this as a decoy to go get the F2 pawn and then all the rest of the pawns. So this game we had a nice position, but it was equal. And then, yeah, I mean, I just went completely crazy, allowing knight b5. If we back up a little bit, like here, white is always, according to Stockfish, a touch preferred because of the space advantage. But personally, I really like these queenside expansion positions. I really like black's prospects of putting pressure in the endgame. But I think here we played very smart. I think we played a pretty smart game, and yeah, I guess, I mean, rook c1 was a very smart move. Apparently, the top entry move here is bishop d8. Wow, bishop d8 to try to win. Wow, bishop d8 is ridiculous. The point of bishop d8 is there's no rook c7. Incredible. Look here, there's rook c8, rook c7, which I forgot about. But here there's bishop d8. You can't take my knight because mate. And if you go here, there's no rook c7. Crazy. Wow, what a game that was. And the end game was definitely equal, but I think black was the one playing for anything. So I think here I could have been a little bit more accurate. Actually, according to Stockfish, I played all the best moves for a while there. But here it's black playing for win, because when you damage your position like this and your structure, I have such an easy approach to your pawns. So I can take as much space as I can. And then, yeah, I mean, once you lock yourself out, it's probably just game over. So anyway, folks, that was a lot of fun. I don't know if you made it hour and a half in the video. Please let me know if you did. Recording these takes a lot of energy because it's just 90 minutes straight of high-level play, thinking, etc. So use code 20 TWENTY. All courses 40% off, and I will see you in the next How to Win at Chess episode or the next video that you're watching.
Sorry for the boring session. Gonna end it here though. Have a good night or a nice day. Yeah. September so far. Just W, loss. Not a W. Loss, W, loss, W. So far, yeah, not too bad actually, because I have this trading day and this trading day, so 2 more trading days, and so far it's going pretty well. So we'll see where I'll end this month. Yeah. Again, thank you for watching. See ya.